All right. Welcome to the second episode of the Iron and Ethos podcast. My name is Andrew. This is my co host, Dash. We're here to go deep on bodybuilding, mindset, and more.
Let's get right into it, y'all. All right, today I really wanted to give the people a little bit of a bigger glimpse into how we got here. How are we even sitting in these two chairs talking about bodybuilding, talking about faith, about prep, about all these different things? So I wanted to get started with you, Andrew. How did you get here?
Yeah, man. So there's the whole, well, they're kind of intertwined. It's how did I get into bodybuilding and how did I get into coaching? Of course, they're intertwined. But so I grew up doing sports in high school. I wrestled. And I feel like I loved wrestling, but wrestling's a sport where it's like it's just you, and what you put in is what you get out. So I got really into lifting weights because I was like, hey, if I lift weights, I'm stronger, I'm bigger than these other guys, and I can beat them. So I got really into it, and I just loved learning about it. So even in high school, man, I was on you always hear about those old bodybuilding.com forums. You hear about those
Yeah,
days?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
that was my
sure.
day, bro.
Nice.
Um,
There you go.
I'm an old head like that. But so just kind of reading on those bodybuilding.com forums and reading old like Charles Poliquin books and stuff like that when I was in high school, just getting super into it. And then in college, I so this is where things got a little interesting. I was a good boy in high school. I was a all-state wrestler, worked out all the time. Then in college, I went wild and started drinking a ton. Was still a 4.0 student, but dropped out in my second semester. So just because I couldn't hold my life together. And then I actually like didn't work out for like a full year after that. Just kind of smoked weed and played video games all day every day. And then finally kind of got my shit together, got clean, got sober, and started getting in the gym again, man. And the gym literally saved me. Like, it was literally the structure I needed, the routine that I needed, the objective progression that I needed, and getting those endorphins and stuff some other way. So after that, I started competing in powerlifting. So I did that while I pursued my degree in dietetics because I was like, well, I love doing this. So this is what I want to do. I actually started in exercise science, but then I got into dietetics because I like the nutrition classes more. So I was like, the exercise science stuff, it's like, well, I already know all this stuff. I already read all those textbooks when I was in high school. So I'm just relearning all this stuff. The nutrition stuff, though, that stuff is fascinating to me. So that's where I went to Michigan State. I transferred over there for dietetics, pursued that while I was competing in powerlifting. I think my senior year, when I was like 24, I started, I was personal training this whole time too. So that's where the coaching came into play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my senior year, that was in 2019. That's when I started getting in more into bodybuilding just because I was sick of getting hurt all the time in powerlifting. And if you want to be a really good powerlifter, you do the same things over and over and over again. The programming is really boring for my mindset and the way I like to train. I could not do that. 3 hours of bench squat and deadlift over and over is miserable for me. So the bodybuilding was just more appealing to me, the workouts, and then I started getting more into the lifestyle and eating all my meals and doing all that stuff. And then COVID hit. Got sent home from college my senior year, so I never actually had a graduation. I did graduate. All right, I did. But got sent home, worked out in my parents' garage, lost all my clients because I was an in-person trainer and no gyms were open. I had one guy coming in my garage and training.
There you go.
Wasn't supposed to do that, but you know. Um, and then moved out here to California to do half a master's degree and get my clinical hours to sit for my exam. Not really worth finishing my master's. And started just doing online coaching as like a side thing. Did that for the past 6 years while being like all in on bodybuilding, eating on plan year round. coaching on the side, and then like in the past year, I invested more into furthering my education on like the functional health coaching side of things, and I started applying that to my coaching, and I saw it kind of blow up organically. So that's why last month I quit my clinical job and just went all in on full time coaching. So yeah, kind of just a kind of a rocky road with a dip in there and battle with addiction and stuff and some mental health issues, but the whole fitness journey helped guide me in all of that, and now I can use a lot of that in my coaching philosophy. So that was a long story, but
No, not at all,
hope
man.
it was a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one, man. It's always just fascinating to, talk to people and people that are already so advanced, in their field the way that you are, and just seeing that, it wasn't all linear. It wasn't that one day you woke up and decided, hey, I'm gonna be a badass fitness coach. I'm gonna help
Yeah,
change a bunch of people's lives. Like
yeah,
usually, like a lot of the higher achieving individuals had to go through those moments, those dips, like you said,
yeah.
to kind of shape, the way that they think and the way that they see the world after, right? So I had a kind of a similar, not exactly, background, kind of close to yours. So I always struggled with body image issues. As a kid, I loved food,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a lot of dopamine from food, and
Mm.
I can confidently say that I was completely addicted to food. Like calling up my parents when they're working, because they own a cigar shop. They're working at a winery, and as soon as they get out at like 10 o'clock, I'm calling them. Can I get a 20-piece nugget with a large chocolate shake and a large fry? And that was like every weekend, and it got to a point where it got pretty bad. So I grew up playing sports, baseball, basketball, but I couldn't control the eating side of it. So freshman year of high school, that's kind of where things like lit up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta kind of change because I got up to 200 pounds being around like 5'3", 5'4". So I was a hefty guy, never have had lifted like any real weight, so it was all really bad weight. And I remember sitting down with my dad and having a conversation, and he's like, if you keep this up, like it could get dangerous, like it could get bad. And I didn't see an end to that. I tried dieting many times. It would last like 2 weeks, and I would fall right back off. So I decided to take it to the extremes, which I didn't really know about it at that moment. But my sophomore year of high school, in the middle break between the two semesters, I would go into my small gym in my apartment complex where there was only two treadmills, and I would stay on that treadmill until the number of calories burned said 1,000. And I programmed my mind. I was like, I'm gonna lose this weight, yes or yes. Of course, like I wish I had the knowledge that I do now, and that is not the best way. I could have got into weightlifting, and things would have been a lot more solid. But I lost like 60 pounds, and I got down to 140. But it was a very, very skinny, like borderline. I looked sick skinny. So the people around me, my loved ones, were saying, Dash, like you don't look great. It looks like you're starving yourself. So, I guess at that time I didn't recognize it, but it was an eating disorder. I was
Mm-hmm.
counting every macro, which is not in any way bad, but when you're doing it to that extreme, it was getting like really, really bad to me.
Yeah.
So I lost the weight and finally realized like I need to put some muscle on my frame. And I was like, if I really ended up enjoying those 2 hours of cardio that I was doing every day, like I got a
Yeah.
new sort of feel for like
Yeah.
this really feels freaking good. Like I'm doing something and I'm seeing progress in my mind. That's the progress that I wanted, so I was happy. But fast forward, I picked up the weights a little bit, started working out at a Planet Fitness. Then college hit. Same story with you, man. Like I got into college wanting to fit in. I
Yep.
drank a lot. I drank a lot. I partied a lot,
Yep.
and I really lost myself. Lost myself completely. Just remember waking up hungover some point in like my the second semester of my junior year, and I was like, this is not what I want to do and live through for the rest of my life. Like these instant pleasures, they are starting to kill me more and more. I had no like personal identity. I didn't know what I wanted to do for myself. So I was a business student, had no idea what I was going to do with that degree. Knew that I could still help out my folks with the cigar shop, but I didn't have anything that I was aspiring to be. And then the gym saved me. One day I decided like I'm not gonna do this drinking anymore. Like I need to put a stop to this. It's starting to kill me. I need purpose. And I started lifting weights, and I got like you said, those endorphins are, you can't compare them to anything else, man. It's,
Yep.
you start feeling really good, the muscle starts being added, and, you're seeing your physique and your mindset change on a day-to-day basis. For me, it was an escape. I was dealing with like even withdrawal from like not drinking every day of the week. That was my safe space where I knew that I could put in work. And I got even more into the gym. I signed up for Iron Office, and I started seeing, what hard work can do for all the people that were around me. I started seeing
Yeah.
more bodybuilders, and I was always interested in it. Till one day, I was in my car after a session. One of my good buddies from college, his name's Salvador. He's still my coach to this day. We had a conversation on Instagram, and I was like, dude, I want to do a prep. Like, I really want to take this to the next level. This is going to put me back on that right road. Like, no distractions. Like, let's just go fully, let's do a deep dive into this. And I ended up absolutely loving prep. And even before that, I put up an Instagram story because I was getting so into fitness, and I was like, you know what, I want other people to experience what I've been experiencing and this whole
Yep.
complete change in my life. So put up a story. I got 3 clients, started working with them, and throughout prep, I started posting more stuff, getting more clients. And as soon as I finished that first show, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, whether it's coaching, competing, just being in the world of bodybuilding, just because it completely saved me.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I'm here right now. I'm working with a bunch of, amazing clients, and it's been the biggest shift in my life, but ultimately it's been the biggest blessing.
It was crazy because both of our stories of how we got into coaching just come from realizing how much, not just the bodybuilding journey, but just the fitness journey in trying to be your best self has impacted both of our lives.
Bled
And
into a bunch of other areas.
exactly, man. And it's getting into coaching because I want other people to experience that, That's the impact that I want to make on other people is we're not only looking to achieve a physique goal here, but we're trying to become the very best versions of
hmm
ourselves, in every way, shape, and form. So it's truly an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the great thing about, people like me and you talking about this is that we understand because you've been in more contest preps, and you've been in this game for longer than I have. But we talk the same language. Like,
Yeah,
we know what it's like. And going through a bodybuilding prep where you can't miss, or you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't miss a single thing. That's how you should treat life. Like, get up and make your bed in the morning.
yep,
Stop waiting for it. Have your meals prepared. Don't wait last minute, because then you're going to get caught up in all these other things. It shows you that if you prepare to succeed, you can have that success in all other areas of life. So that same discipline of doing the same thing over and over, eating on plan, I feel like we both have been able to transfer that same energy into coaching and into bringing the best service that we can, right?
absolutely. It's
Discipline equals
funny.
freedom. Yeah, yeah,
Shout out
absolutely,
Jocko. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, you ever hear the quote, how you do anything is how you do everything?
Yeah, that's on the money right there.
Yeah, it like with bodybuilding, it's I cross all my T's, I dot all my I's, and I do it with passion, full heart, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Dang, with the references.
Yeah, right.
But it's carrying that mindset over to everything else, like building a business and coaching people. It's the same, make sure I hit all my boxes every day, all my KPIs and stuff, but also, coach to the best of my ability, give them everything I got. Like, just like I
hmm
give every set everything I got,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Even with relationships, whether it's with
Yeah.
your significant other or just the people around you, a lot of us expect, it's like the human brain goes straight into thinking that everything is linear and it has to be right. Like, me talking to my friend, it has to be like this every single day, but it's not like that. We know from prep that there's days where we feel amazing, there's days where we feel really low, and there's that middle ground. It's the same thing with keeping like those tight relationships. The other person, they're not always going to feel at 100. You're not always going to feel at 100. It's not like you're putting just 100 to 100 and you expect everything to be just smooth and linear, right? It's the same thing, like, with my significant other, I know that she's going to have her off days. I know that I'm going to have my off days. But at the end of the day, we know that we're both working to build a really strong relationship, and it's going to take all those highs and those lows to build.
That's exactly what a relationship is, though. And me and Leisha, we've been married for 2.5 years now, something like that. You're gonna kill me.
Oh
Um,
yeah, let's cut the camera.
well, we've been together for like 8 years, and really, when you marry someone else, you're like you're committing to an understanding that you're both growing, and you're both gonna have highs and lows. You're gonna have on days and off days, and hard months and great months, and even years sometimes, in all phases of life. And it's an understanding that you're both humans growing through this life together, and you're committing to each other to do it with each other.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, no matter what we're gonna face, we're doing it together.
Yeah, growing pains, everything in between.
Hmm.
Yeah, like so I wanted to touch on the topic of faith because we're both very, we
Yes.
try to be as strong as we can be. And one thing that I just want everyone to know, and this is completely like my perspective on it, but following Jesus, following God, like it's not about being perfect. And a lot of people try to portray it as that. They're like, "Oh, you're a Christian?" Like, "Oh, like you have to be perfect. If not, then how can you call yourself a Christian?" And it's not about that, right? It's about, you know, believing that this life that we're living right now, it's all due because we're saved. Like he paid
Yep.
the dues for us to have like this kind of life. And I'm sure that, throughout your bodybuilding prep, you have to lean on something. We all have to lean on something. Other
Yeah.
other people, they decide to lean on substances, on worldly things, on going out. You know, in something that's as tough as like a bodybuilding prep, we have to lean on God, and that's the only way that I was able to make it through mine. Because when I was going through those really tough days, it was like, God, like just help, just carry me through to tomorrow because I'm really not feeling good. But with that, it came a whole the purpose side of it, right? Because it says do not fear, right? Don't fear about what happens tomorrow. There's enough to worry about today, right? So you take that same mentality every single day, not worried about what happened in the past, not worrying about what happens tomorrow, just what is going on in that same day. And that was one of the things that was able to kind of like guide me, through my prep, was just not worrying about what I was going to look like, 2 weeks out, or how I
Yep.
looked 2 weeks before.
It it's funny because I was just having a conversation in the gym earlier this morning with somebody, and we were just talking about we're gonna control what we can control and put the rest in God's
Hmm.
hands. It's living by faith. That's what it is understanding that there is uncontrollables. You're not going to be able to control the outcome of something because there's so many factors you can't control.
Absolutely.
We're going to do the best we can. We're going to be good Christians and live our lives in a way that exemplifies a life that Jesus would live.
Hmm.
Uh, but at the end of the day, we just got to put our faith in God's hands that whatever happens, I've done whatever I can do, and that is just in His plan.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as you do your part, then
Yeah.
we leave the uncertain for the highest power, because we obviously don't know,
It,
you know.
sometimes it doesn't work out the way you don't get the outcome you wanted, even
Hmm.
if you did do everything you can. But that's when the Lord works in mysterious ways. That's
Hmm.
when honest reflection and prayer, and that's what prayer is one of the aspects of prayer is reflection, and it's noticing how those unexpected outcomes. What is God trying to tell me here? He he maybe he's putting this challenge in my way because I need to learn something from it. Because like you can pray to God for strength, God just doesn't wave a wand and make you stronger,
Hmm.
but He's going to put something in place that you will have to overcome, and it's going to make you stronger because of it.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I've just definitely, from my standpoint, I've seen the difference of, when I do rely on God and when
Hmm.
I'm in my word. and getting better at it. And then I see like the other side, when I'm not talking to God, when I'm not asking him, to guide me, when I'm not praying. Like it's almost like two different versions, and the more happy, more productive, better version of myself is when God is always present, because you do have to invite him.
Mm-hmm.
You have to invite him everywhere you go. I invite him. For me, I like to talk to God in the car, and I talk to him almost like a father figure. Well, he is the father figure, but almost like having a talk like with
Yep.
my dad, right? Like literally as I'm driving, I'm talking out everything. Like this, I'm struggling with this. These are some things that I'm very like proud of. These are all the things that I'm extremely grateful to have. And like we talked on the last episode, the showing of gratitude, it does something crazy, for the body and for the brain when you just
Yep.
kind of sit back and think like, I have everything I need. I have absolutely everything. I have a roof over my head. I'm weighing out my food because I'm deciding to compete in a sport, so where like macros are super important. So I'm out here weighing out my food on a digital food scale, while there's so many people that aren't living in this country, that are in countries that are facing a lot of poverty. Like I was born in Cuba. I come from a full Cuban background, and I've seen the day-to-day struggle, like kids walking around with one sandal on their foot and the other one's it's barefoot,
Mm-hmm.
and a mom struggling to get meals ready. And there's so much like that we don't see because it's not our circumstance, but we just need to be so much grateful. For everyone watching this, it's the same kind of thing. Like when you feel like complaining about something, before you do that, you better start counting all those blessings, because those weren't guarantees in your life. You're just so fortunate to have them, and if you really compare, which you shouldn't, comparison is, it's the thief of joy. You shouldn't be comparing to someone that's doing better, doing worse than you. But just for perspective, if you kind of lay out the lives that other people are living compared to ours, we have it so freaking good. All my family's back in Cuba, so I have communications with all my cousins, and they're telling me that they get 2 hours of electricity every day. My grandmother from my dad's side, she rents out like video games, and that's how she makes her money, right? She rents out video games in her patio, like her little patio balcony in her house in Cuba. She hasn't been able to make anything because there's no electricity, there's no power, and I catch myself sometimes, I'm like, oh man, like I have so many things to do today, like I'm so busy, I'm stressed the heck out. But it's like, man, I'm so fortunate to be living in this country, and to be in the circumstances that I'm in today, because I get to see people that have the same blood as me, and they're struggling to even make it to the next day in a whole different way than the way that we're talking about
Yeah.
going in a prep and having a low day. It's like they're living a low day every single day, and it's not by choice, it's by
Exactly.
circumstance, right?
Yeah. It's we have first world problems, man.
Yeah, that's a real life thing.
We complain because Netflix is slow and it's
Mm-hmm.
stuttering. It's like, yeah, we have shelter, we have light, we have all the food we could want,
Mm-hmm.
we have clean water.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the world doesn't have those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's we have a phone in our pockets where we can look up literally anything we want. Man, I used to have to go to the library and go on the computer at the library or look through books and stuff if I wanted to find information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I want to read a book that I don't have, I can just download the PDF and read that book.
You have just access to everything.
It's insane.
Yeah, to
You know,
everything.
it's, well, you were talking about being busy and being stressed that you're busy. And it's like, yeah, well, we're blessed to be busy
Mm-hmm.
as entrepreneurs and business owners. If we're not busy, that means we're not doing good.
Yeah,
You
that means
know,
that we're struggling.
so I'd much rather be busy,
Mm-hmm.
and I would much rather be stressed out than be bored. That's
Yeah,
for dang sure.
1,000%. Yeah, it's just when your day is filled with activities, and you know what you're doing, and it makes it just go by smoothly. And we
Oh
we,
yeah,
we touched on this, like crossing off those perfect days is great. And Andrew and I are such big believers. We want everyone that's like listening, watching this podcast to, we just really want to tell you guys the importance of it, and the results that you can get from checking off those boxes every single day. If you're listening to this and you're struggling with, with even getting out of a bed in the mornings, because I've struggled with that in my past too, but just little tasks, one thing at a time, like, and all those small little victories, they start to compound, and you could change your life around really, really fast. For those that are struggling with, staying in the gym consistently or eating on plan consistently, start stacking the little things up. The habits start being formed and created, and then it's almost like you're going on autopilot. Like,
Yep.
I'm sure that, you
Yeah.
and you and I, we're on autopilot every day. We're
Yeah,
waking up
brother.
at the same time every day. We have this to do, this client at this time. We have check-ins. We have our meals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Everything is set out, so we don't have, we're not inviting extra room for error. We're trying to eliminate as much of that as possible, right? Having all of our stuff ready, having our training scheduled
Yep.
ready, eliminating the room for error, and that can help out anyone, not just people that are competing. But if you just want to get in better shape and you've tried and it hasn't worked out, plan it out, write it out,
Yeah.
type it out, like, and then check boxes. And then when you see, like, let it ride for a couple months, and the progress is it's gonna show. It's gonna show if you put in the work necessary.
Absolutely. It's somebody asked me, how are you in a growth phase in your business right now, and you're in prep? How are you managing that stuff? And I'm like, I honestly, bodybuilding and prep is so routine to me at this point that I don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure my food is prepped. I make sure my schedule is written so that I have time to do my cardio and go to the gym and eat my meals and do everything I need. I have all that stuff in place, and then it's just execution, which
Mm-hmm.
is on autopilot for me right now. So I don't even think about it, and I have a plan for everything. So I walk in the gym, I open up my Heavy app where I log all my stuff. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what numbers I hit last week, and I know kind of what I need to hit this week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally just plan, prepare, execute.
Yeah, it's not, like we said, not leaving any room for error. So
Yeah.
if you don't have your meals prepped, you have a busy ass day going on, and then
Yeah.
this comes up. Then what are you gonna do? Are you just not gonna eat, or are you gonna go to a fast food joint?
Right.
Like, you're inviting a bunch of more, like, outside factors to screw up all this progress that you're having. So if you just
Absolutely.
set a couple of days, people say, "Oh, we don't have time." If When people say they don't have time, I want to open up their settings and see their screen usage, and then I'll let you know, like, okay, you really
Yeah,
don't have the
man.
time if that thing's on like 10 minutes. But if you got a couple hours on there, it's like that time could have been dedicated, instead of like doom scrolling, to
Yeah.
preparing, and then guess what? You have less excuses, and then things go smoothly because you prepared everything. It's as simple as that.
Yep. It's that's the thing when people say they don't have time. It's just like I would like to see your time management. I mean, personally, for me, I, I have so many things to do. I'm so dialed that I don't even. I have a nice couch, nice TV, and surround sound system, dude. I watch TV like an hour a week.
Hmm.
On a Saturday night with my wife, we'll watch like 2 episodes of Seinfeld
There
or
you go.
something like that. It's so because I prefer reading because I feel like it's a lot better for my brain. So like if I'm gonna do something leisurely, I'll read a fiction book because it for one it activates the creative side of my brain, which as coaches we don't really activate a lot.
Hmm.
So that's really good for us. Two, it develops my ability to focus on something for a long amount of time, which is a lost art nowadays. Um, and then three, I think that like fiction is it puts you into another person's brain in a different reality than is your own. So you can learn a lot more from that and experiencing all the stories behind that than you can from just reading a self help book or something. It's like show don't tell. Showing is always going to be more effective. So like that's what I do for leisure on a day to day basis. I will not sit down and watch TV though. I feel like if I'm sitting down watching TV, I feel so lazy and like I need to find something to do.
Unproductive, like, the wheels always going, and it's
Oh,
like, man,
exactly.
I have this to do and that to do, and yeah, I totally agree with that, man. Andrew, one thing I wanted to ask you, we talked about, not being 100% sure of the future, and that there's going to be a lot of external factors that will shift that. But what is your 10-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you see yourself doing? Are you going to continue the online coaching and the personal training?
Oh yeah.
Is bodybuilding something that you see yourself like doing for another 10 years? What are you doing after that? Like, talk to me about what's going on.
All right. So Team Fotis Fit for Life for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is ride or die. Like I am gonna ride it. And if I fall on my face, I'll get back up and keep riding.
Mm-hmm.
That man, I'm all in for my life. I definitely want to open up a gym at some point in the next 10 years. That's a great goal for me. A gym, a hormone clinic too, as part of the gym, kind of like what they do at Trinity. Um, that's something that I really want to get into. I've always wanted to open up a gym, and I love coaching. I'm so passionate about it. So I'll do it for the rest of my life. I'll be a 70-year-old man refusing to retire,
Yeah,
trying
right.
to figure out this new technology and stuff using my old spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
So, but so as far as like career goes, man, I want to build and build and build. I never want to be one of those coaches who has 200 clients because I'm way too detail oriented and like the connection I have with my clients, where I don't want to carry a roster over. I think like 75 is probably what I could cap out at. And I don't know if I'd ever want to scale to the point of having an assistant coach either, because I like to be in control too much. Um, but so yeah, as far as business, there, coaching, gym, do it all. And then bodybuilding, man, it's I'm 30, which is good for an open bodybuilder. This is when we peak. It's really hard to get a pro card as an open super heavyweight under 30 if you're a phenom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Martin Fritz did it. Okay, well, look at him. He's like top 5 in the Olympia. He took fifth or fourth. So yeah, I think Nick Walker did too. Okay, yeah, everybody knows Nick Walker.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah. So it's really hard. Andrew Jacks, he's late 30s. He's like 38 or something. Same with Samson. Um, Open bodybuilders peak in their mid 30s. So I haven't peaked yet.
There's still a window.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
there's a big
I'm
window.
just getting into the window.
Nice, man.
It takes so long to build up the mass that you need to build
For
to
sure.
be an open bodybuilder, especially at 5'10".
For
Like,
sure.
you need a lot of mass. So now it's like, okay, well, I think I'm at the point where I'm competitive for a pro card, and then it's just like show up, see who else shows up, and whatever happens, happens. I'll gun for that for a little bit here once I get my pro card, because I will get it. Then it becomes a factor of I want to do a couple pro shows, and then it's kind of see how I do, see how I stack up,
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hitting the top 5 in a pro show and kind of climbing and getting better every year, okay, I'm going to keep doing it. But also I want to have kids and I want to have a family. So if it gets to the point where, my business is to the point, my family's to the point where bodybuilding's taking too much away from that, then I'm going to have to make a really hard decision.
Of course.
So right now, I'm just doing though.
Yeah, we're blessed enough to kind of go through the motions, and you got a clear goal set. And I mean, I don't know many other people that work as hard as you, so I have all my faith in you, man. I think that you could do whatever you put your mind to. Speaking of bodybuilding, because I feel like we need to touch on this subject, right? So you just talked about Martin. So did you see what happened at the Arnold last weekend?
Bro, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have time for drama.
Yeah.
That is drama.
That is drama for sure.
I care about the competition, cool. Andrew won. Love that because I love the more aesthetic look. But as far as the Martin thing, dude, that's a bunch of drama. And that guy's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's all the media stations are just overblowing the situation because it gets clicks and it's sensationalism and drama, and it's There's people who sit around talking about this stuff. Just, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it raw. They don't have much else going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
The same people who sit around talking about politics all day. So I'm worried
Totally agree
about the
with that.
community around me and affecting the community around me. That's what I'm worried about, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that subject just because I'm very against like the whole cancel culture thing.
Yeah.
So like
Same.
obviously I'm not excusing like his actions, and it was a show of like bad sportsmanship.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it should be the whole world against Martin, because
No.
I'm gonna tell like. We've all
That's
have
the
screwed
thing.
up in so many ways.
I
We
know.
screw up every single day. The big difference is that this one was broadcasted nationally to millions of people like around the world.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, especially if you don't know the individual, that you should just go and say, hey, like this guy's terrible. Like I will no longer support him, and I'm gonna bash him. Because you don't really know you don't know what's going on, right? Not excusing the action, it wasn't right for him to do what he did. But I don't think that, like you said, people that are sitting on their couch having opinions where, they're not even in the sport, or they don't know that person.
I know.
I don't think that it's fair to just say like, all right, Martin is completely blacklisted from the sport of bodybuilding, and then he has no way of like redeeming himself. Because that's like a big thing in faith. It's like Jesus forgives.
Yeah.
You screw up, you ask for repentance, and he will grant that to you. So for like all the people that are just like hating and spectating, well, that's all they're doing is hating and spectating.
I know. And that's the thing. It's a bunch of armchair quarterback stuff, too. It's, I'd like to see you go up there and do it. I'd like
Yeah.
to see you get that shredded in that big and dedicate your whole freaking life to it.
Yeah, you don't know what other external factors are going into that.
And this stuff will all blow past people, forget about it in a year. You know how I know that? Hottie did even worse at the Olympia 2 years ago when Samson won. He literally like took off his medal and threw it and walked off the stage. He didn't shake anybody's hand.
Yeah.
Dude, that's worse in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And
for
in this
sure.
whole Martin conversation, nobody's talked about that. They all forgot about it. People are just gonna forget about this in a year. Like,
Yeah.
Just,
Totally agree, man. Yeah, the whole like cancel culture thing, I just think it's not cool. And us as a society, like if you're perfect and you're God, then you go ahead and judge whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you're in the position that you're not, like I think that we need to take a step back and assess our flaws before we go, pointing the finger at someone else. There's a verse in the Bible that says that about the speck in the eye.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're aware with it, but it's the same kind of thing.
I know. There's a really good Seneca quote. I can't remember it word for word off the top of my head, but it's along the lines of, don't talk about good deeds, like just do them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't talk about what it is to be a good person and how all these people aren't. Just be a good person.
Yeah, that's
Go
it.
out there and show them. Don't talk about everything wrong in the world. Go out there and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fix the world. You fix your community.
Yeah, it starts by
One
fixing
person
yourself.
at a time.
It starts by
But
fixing
yeah,
yourself.
it really does.
It's like, what change are you gonna make if the skeletons in the closet are there's a lot of them in there. Like how are we even gonna like strike up a start with that?
There's a lot to do with mastering yourself and knowing yourself and finding your light. And then you don't even really have to try to spread that light around you. It just spreads.
It's contagious.
It's an aura thing.
Yeah,
I
it
know
is, absolutely.
We're getting into like woo-woo energy stuff, bro. But like, dude, it is though. It's if you have that mindset, like an abundance mindset of, I am going to go out there and impact other people, and I don't care what I get in return, then you're going to go out there and you're going to make an impact.
Chain reaction.
Yeah. I always say, just work hard and be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is. Stop worrying about everything else. Just work hard, be a good person, take care of your family, take care of your community, take care of your tribe. And it'll just bleed and bleed and bleed. And maybe your light will just spread and spread and spread, and one day you can change the world and win a Nobel Prize.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts right here.
Yeah, from the ground
right
up.
here. man.
Just like posing, right? From the ground up.
From the ground up.
Yup, from the ground up.
Dude, everything's from the ground up,
Yeah,
man.
that's a good little metaphor for life right there. That
Yeah.
throws in some bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Social media has really made it interesting nowadays because the way that the algorithm works and stuff is people hear what they want to hear and it becomes a whole echo chamber.
Mhm.
You know, they never hear the other side. They never hear other perspectives. You know, I never hear perspectives against peptide use, and I'm sure there's lots of them out there, but that's not how the algorithm is plugging me.
Mhm.
I actually look it up on a different account because I do want to hear the other perspectives.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's the whole social media echo chamber stuff and information news spreading like that. You know, you hear about something happen across the world and you hear about it like that, right?
Mhm.
It's made everything so much more dramatic and it feels like something that you should care about. And it's like, dude, do you have any control over this?
Yeah.
Like, why are you putting your energy into that? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, and like you said, it's gonna favor one extreme or the other. You know,
Yeah.
whatever you're gonna. So it closes off a lot of like
Yeah.
the middle ground, which is, I believe personally, where a lot of people should sit. Like, you know, in any sort of like, you know, not even just saying with politics, but just with everything in life. Like being in the middle ground is it's something solid. So people from both extremes are getting bombarded. You know, their algorithms bombarding them with news that favors that side, or and it doesn't depict like what the other side's thinking about it. And then you have radical viewpoints from two people, and we're in the United States of America, but we're far from being united. You know?
Exactly. It's I think Mike Israel, he has a good quote. Only the Sith think in absolutes. My Star Wars reference
Yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah.
but you know, it's you can't think in this is completely right. This is completely wrong. The only thing I'm certain of is there's a God above me and he sent Jesus Christ to this world to die for our sins.
Amen, brother.
That's the only thing I know. And that I will die someday and that the government will get their taxes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
All
Those are the
things I know.
guarantees. Yeah.
But everything else, it's so nuanced. There's so much gray area, even in like science, dude. It's because I know how to conduct research. I went to school and learned all of this stuff. And even scientific studies, like unless you do 50 of them and it replicates every single time, it's very hard to claim certainty over anything. And there's always that odd case where there's nuance to it. And honestly, my clients are gonna laugh, but a lot of times the answer is it depends. They get that answer a lot of times if they ask them too generic of a question.
Yeah, I can't give you a certain, you know, one way or the other. So
It depends.
yeah, it depends.
They'll ask, is Matsi good to use? I'm like, it depends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's like we're missing a lot of information there, you know, that we need to plug in before
There's
we
a
can
lot
make
of
that
context.
decision.
It's the same with everything. Even if something happens, you know, some dramatic event happens, what's the context behind it? Why did it happen that way? What's the full story here? Because it depends how you're gonna judge it. And who am I to judge it anyways?
For sure.
You know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You know? But honestly, all that stuff, it goes back to just the Stoic principle and the Christian principle of you control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all that sensationalism in the media and everything like that. The whole Martin thing. It's like, what does that have to do with me?
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know? Do I have any control over that situation? I don't sit on the IFBB judging panel. I'm not nowhere near there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do my thing.
Totally, man.
If I believe in a standard of excellence on the stage, then I'll represent that standard of excellence on the stage. And so should everybody else who's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying anything about that situation, you better be the utmost sportsman when you're
Yeah,
up on a
seriously.
bodybuilding
You better have
stage,
never,
you know?
have never even thrown the slightest frown when you lost anything, or have even felt or thought, you know,
Right?
like F this guy, you know, like I deserve it, you know, and I'm gonna, you know, yeah, I totally agree with that statement, man. Totally.
I think anybody who's been in a very competitive situation, like if you're a competitive person, and you guys are gonna understand this if you are, emotions get high. Like when I was wrestling, like wrestling is there's a lot of sportsmanship in that sport. You shake hands before and after the match. After the match, you go and shake the other person's coach's hands even. Like it's a very high sportsman sport. Dude, I've still thrown my headgear across the mat because I lost a match or something like that. I don't think I ever marched off without shaking an opponent's hand, but I've seen it. But I have done stuff that even looking back 10 minutes later, I was like,
Like
yeah,
I
I
shouldn't
shouldn't
have
have
done
done
that.
that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
emotions run high. You see it in NFL and NBA
Oh,
all
all
the
the time,
time,
every
dude. They do
game.
way worse than not
Yeah,
shaking someone's hand,
yeah.
man.
It's every game. It's like almost brawling, like on in the middle
Dude,
of the court,
for
or like
sure.
taking off your helmet on the. I don't remember know if you remember that one incident with like Andre Johnson, where like the helmet came off. I don't know if it's that same exact one,
Yeah.
but it's like that stuff's like it's almost it's at a whole nother level than
Yeah.
this, and also like these guys are, for a lack of better words, their dick skin shredded. So they are not feeling like
They don't feel
at
good.
all the best. And you don't know what other like context, like maybe this rivalry has brewed for longer, and there's a lot of stuff that happened backstage
Yes.
that we have no idea
There's a
about.
lot of
They could have
context
been
there.
shit talking the whole time. And then yeah, it's on the stage, and I also don't think that Nick Walker had absolutely no part in it, you know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
it was all just like Martin. So before
Yeah.
you know the full story, it's bad to like just
Yeah.
speak on it negatively.
Yeah. Dude, I'm really careful about speaking about things negatively. Like, not just in public or on social media, but also just out loud. Because I really think it's things that you say out loud become your beliefs and they become your energy. So if I'm talking negative about things all the time, I'm going to be a negative person. I'm going to see everything in a negative light. But by talking positively about things all the time, that's how you shine your light and
Hmm.
show your light to other people.
Yeah, man. I mean, you create your reality. It's
Yeah,
whatever's going on up here.
it's for real.
You can, and it is hard to flip the switch. Like I'm not gonna say that on really hard and tough days. That it's easy. It's like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna think positive, and then everything's gonna be okay. Like it takes
Yeah,
it takes practice. It's hard to do. But the more that you do it, the better that you get at it, just like anything else in life.
mhm.
And you could really just start living, start seeing things in a different lens. When you really change that perspective, everything changes. Everything changes. You start not viewing like going to the gym, going to our desk to go to work as like a task, and you see it as like an opportunity for growth and to get better. Just that one change in your mindset, right? From chore, something that you got to do, to it's an opportunity to grow and get better. You're
Yep,
gonna go in there and perform so much better just because you have a positive connotation attached to it.
yep,
Like that it's gonna be good, so you're gonna perform. You're gonna do okay. If
yeah.
you go into like the gym and you're gonna say that I'm gonna have a shit session, like I don't feel good. Guess what's gonna
Dude,
happen, dude? You're gonna have the worst session, man, and you're not gonna feel good about it. But it's because you're already predisposed. You're predisposed to it. Like you told yourself you're already
mhm,
gonna do it. So what's gonna happen? What you're telling yourself up here, you know?
100%. 100%. If, like, another wrestling reference, but, it had a lot to do with my outlook. Um, in wrestling, if you go into a match thinking you're going to lose the match, dude, you're not going to win that match
Yeah,
because
you
you're going to be
forfeit it.
hesitant behind every move, and that moment of hesitation is the only moment they need. And you're
Great
not going to be able
example.
to oppose your physical will on somebody else if you don't think that you can do it,
Great example.
So it's literally anything in life. Like, it's like building a business. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
Mhm.
If you don't believe in the product you're selling, who's going to buy it?
Mhm.
If you don't think you can win,
You're not gonna win.
it's not going to happen.
You're
You
not
know,
gonna win. Yeah, man. Well, hey, um, anything else that you want to touch up on before we wrap up today's episode?
I had one more quote
Yeah, what's going
that
on? Let's
came
hear
to
it.
my mind. It's that pessimists are right more often, but optimists are the ones who change the world.
Boom. All
Yep.
right, guys, this has been Dash and Andrew wrapping up episode 2 of the Iron and Ethos podcast. If you guys want to see more, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your bodybuilding friends, your buddies, anyone that changes the same mindset. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
See ya.
All right, Cole. So, what would you say are the best peptides just for overall recovery?
Yeah, I'm mostly on BPC 157. It's good for my paws after I'm done lifting.
All right, so yeah, so BPC 157. So I've heard of a lot of people like stacking it too with like
Uh huh.
TB. Like, what can you say about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me. I stack it up.
Oh, okay. There you go. Sounds good, man. All right. Well, thank you for your insight.
All right, see you, bro.
Ah, Cole.
He's off.